USA.
Hello there, everybody.
What's going on?
And welcome back to our second episode of Weezle and Wolf. I know it's
Been a long time.
been a long time.
I know we've been busy guys.
I mean, you've been working on pretty much your short films.
Yep.
You're a filmmaker and everything.
Trying to survive during these COVID times.
Oh yeah, definitely. Same here.
Trying to make stuff. Trying to make money. Just trying to stay busy. Trying to stay busy and trying to be creative. You know?
And also trying to just free our minds from this whole COVID thing. Trying to keep ourselves busy from that too.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of keeping busy with COVID times, one day we, sat down and I was just like, hey, how about we watch Slender?
Yeah.
Just fuck it,
It's a movie actually because when it came out, I've been wanting to watch it. I just never got around to it because I knew it was going to be bad.
What was weird is that the movie came out in 2018. I didn't even I thought it was 2019. No,
right.
I didn't know it was actually that long ago. I didn't even know 2 years ago was that long.
Kind of surprising if you think about it, because when did we start playing the video game, the 7 pages thing? That was in high school. Yeah, it was 2013.
So yeah, way back in high school.
So it's surprising that it took them that long to get a movie and it was still that bad.
What's funny is I think there were some movies, but it's not like this. It's not like
it wasn't like a full production.
It wasn't a full production.
Yeah,
and which makes me wonder who thought of this one day and was like, you know what, we need make a fucking high budget film.
Yeah.
This is high budget.
It was.
It was high budget.
It was $10 million. I mean, in essence of budget in Hollywood, it's low budget. But to us, $10 million, especially me as a filmmaker that makes films with $0, yeah, that's a budget, bro.
It's a fucking budget.
Yeah.
And it made back. It made back a lot.
That's apparently. Just, if you look at time and time again, you can look at most horror films. It doesn't matter how good or how bad they are. They'll always make their money back normally because people, doesn't matter. When you go to a horror film, right, and you take your friends, and it's midnight showing, you kind of don't care if it's good. You just want to go fuck around. Yeah. Majority of the time, you just want to have fun. You just want to see something stupid.
Yeah.
So that's why people still buy tickets to go see these things. And if you put it in contrast to $10 million, right, and you look at Slender, which we'll dive in more in a minute. It was a bad movie, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely a bad movie.
But then you look at $10 million and you look at Hereditary, which is technically considered the Exorcist of modern day.
Yeah.
So you can't say budget's everything because $10 million they used on Hereditary and it's
it's great.
The next classic, So, So budget doesn't have to do with the quality of it.
Yeah, so... I mean, Food Fight was $20 million, and look how that piece of shit was.
That was a roller coaster.
You're lucky that you didn't have to suffer through the pain of that movie, in which I will probably review that on my own time.
Do it on Wolf versus the World, maybe?
Wolf versus the World, maybe. More about, that segment later.
Yeah.
So, yeah, let's get into Slender.
Okay.
Well, let's start out with pretty much our overall thoughts, and then we'll get into more of shots, right? How character acting and everything.
Okay.
But overall, what do you think of the movie?
Overall, I give it, I think out of 5 stars, I give it a 2.5. And the half is very generous.
Very generous.
Because the 2 is what I'd normally give it. But I give it the half because, I will talk later about the cinematography and stuff I thought was pretty decent.
Yeah.
But overall story and just, impact as a horror film was horrible. The scares were cheap. I didn't feel that. I think there was when we were talking, I think there was 2 reveals of Slender that I actually cared about that didn't get me, but I was like, okay, that's decent.
Yeah.
But most of everything else was just reused scares over and over and over, where it got so mundane to where you were just kind of okay, I just want this movie to be over now. And I think we said that when we're watching it. I looked over at you and I'm like, I wonder when this is going to be done.
Same.
And it wasn't even that long of a movie. So that's
it's an hour and 30 minutes.
I think it was an hour and 19, bro. Yeah, I think it was even shorter than that. Because I remember when it was getting close to the end, and I think you went to the bathroom and we paused it, and you're like, "Oh wow, there's only 10 minutes left."
Oh yeah,
and we're like, "Wow, this is a short movie." But
thank God it's short though.
But it's still being such a short movie, it still felt like it dragged because the story was so lackluster that I stopped caring. I never cared about the characters realistically. So once they started being one by one started falling off, I'm like, I don't care. I really don't care. So overall, I give it 2.5 stars because the story was lackluster. It didn't get me like interested into the movie even within the first 10-15 minutes. And yeah, everything else about it was just trash. The only thing I can give it positive was cinematography, and some of the acting was okay. You know, the people they casted. But yeah, that's really it. I don't know. What about you?
Honestly, I give like a 2. I'm not going to be generous with this one. It was not even the fact that it pissed me off. It just like, the entire time I was questioning everything. Yeah. Like, why do they have to go with the scare? Why did they have to do this? Like, why are these characters so stupid? Mm-hmm. Like, literally, everybody is fucking stupid. Mm-hmm. And I'm with you, like, the scares are lackluster. The story is just dumb. Honestly, there are, like, several things we could do to improve the story, which we'll get into that later. Mm-hmm. The movie, I mean, the cinematography was fine. Right. Like, cinematography was fine. Acting was eh. Mm-hmm. So how they, you know, have Slender, portray Slender was all right. How some shots of him were good. Overall, I really would give it like a 2. It dragged. It dragged so long. And I'm just like, when is this movie going to be over? And like you said, like when I went to the bathroom, I'm like, oh wow, it's only been like 10 minutes.
Yeah,
it was like 10
it didn't
minutes,
even
like,
feel. It didn't even feel like there was a proper build up to the climax. No. It just happened, and then it was over.
And what pissed me, what did piss me off is that there were like certain scenes in the trailer that were supposed to be in the movie, but then you know they cut it off, which I understand. You know, it's some people. Right. Sometimes movies have like certain scenes and they cut it out. Yeah. Because just to save, you know, space or something like that, or just because it just wasn't fitting the story. But it kind of would. Mm-hmm. But also it just wasted so much potential. It did. And I think that's pretty much my overall thought, really. It's a lot of wasted potential with this movie. A lot of wasted potential.
Yeah, and I think going into, like, I guess the first and only point that's good about the movie, since we'll just get that out of the way, is the cinematography. And this kind of goes into what you just said about everything else being so, like, horrible, that I think it's a common theme now we see, specifically in horror, where everything's nicely shot, but the content sucks. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where that $10 million price tag comes into play, because they spent all the money on like the nice cameras and the gear and the crew and all of the locations and all the permits.
Which wasn't really that many locations, honestly.
It really wasn't. But they spend all the money on those things. Mm-hmm. So it looks beautiful. It looks great. You know, it looks like a horror movie, but it doesn't feel like a horror movie, like, because of the story. You know,
because there are like some shots where you were like introduced, like you said earlier, like there's some shots that were introduced Slenderman. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh my god, that's actually a good way to introduce him. Like, there's one where, what was it? One of the girls was going through the forest, and then I'm trying to remember, like,
the one that I remember I liked was when they had the blindfolds on. Remember? And then the one girl said, "Don't look through the blindfold." And then when she looks and turns around, and he kind of blends in with the tree. He's just a silhouette, but then he pops out.
That was actually a good one.
Yeah, I like that.
The other one was what was it? One of the girls walked past a tree, and then there was like a shot of Slenderman just looking behind him and shit. And like it's like white. There's like a white background behind him and shit. Yeah,
that was my other favorite one, because he was kind of out of focus, and it gave that nice imagery that we've known with Slender, like him being in the background of photos and stuff, and you can kind of just see his tall silhouette. That's creepy. Yeah. You know, and there was fog behind him and stuff. They had a really good production design when it came to that, yeah.
It's just that the rest of his unveilings were shit.
It's also, too, because, I mean, my style of horror, if you look at my films, I like to not show too much all the time, and I think that's a technique used in horror sometimes it keeps your imagination running, you know, because we already know what Slender looks like, so we don't really need to see him like straight up close up in camera. And I feel like towards the end of the movie when he turns into a spider, you know, that was just a little too much, and that's a common theme I think we see throughout these movies now, because I'm a big fan of James Wan. I love James Wan. I love his original movies with like Saw and Dead Silence. Very inspired by those. But now, I don't think it's so much him, but it's just the companies like Warner Brothers and these other studios. That if you look at The Nun, I don't know if you've seen that movie.
No.
The beginning, dude, is amazing. It's perfect. It's like set back in the 1800s, all fucking creepy and shit, you know. And everything's like lit by candlelight. It's creepy as hell.
Yeah.
But then towards the end of the movie, it turns into like an action film where they're fucking fighting the nun with the blood of Jesus Christ. And it's like, whoa. How did we get from creepy, like not seeing the nun and just seeing her face lit here and there in the shadows to her being like fucking fighting them with sticks and swords and... It's just like, whoa! Yeah, it was such a stark contrast between the beginning of the film to the end of the film. And Slender's the same type of way. It didn't go as crazy, but it starts off kind of, you don't see Slender that much. He kind of creeps in the shadows, and he pops out here and there. Had some good, you know, reveals, like how we said. And then towards the end, it's like a freaking full-on chase scene with the dude.
Which makes no fucking sense, honestly, because... Because I don't know if you want to like spoil this movie, but then again, it's been 2 years.
It's 2 years old. If you haven't seen it, I'm sorry.
It's 2 years old. I don't think anybody would ever give a shit about this movie anyway. But like at the end, yeah, like when the chase scene with the spider, the girl literally was like, "Take me," and then like the dude turns into a spider and starts chasing her. And I'm like, wait, so why are you running from him? Why are you running from him if you told him to take you, why did he turn into a spider to begin with?
Yeah, I don't get that either. I know there's some imagery that I've seen of him having more tentacles and stuff, but that was like so crazy.
But that's the thing, like there are some games where he does have tentacles, and he does get you that way, but the whole spider thing, the wood spider thing, that's completely new to me.
Yeah, it was a little crazy. It was a little too actiony for my taste for a horror film. The way it was set up to kind of felt like from the beginning, it felt kind of like they took some inspiration from like The Ring with like watching the video and tried to make it modern with that way, you know, because I mean these were teenage girls. Oh yeah, no, you know? They're not. Well, the only one that was a teenager was like the young, like the what was it? The emo chick, right?
Yeah, the emo chick.
I think she was the only one that was actually a teenager at the time.
But even so, she was like an old teenager.
But that's also another filmmaking thing that I understand why they did that, because when you have someone that's younger than 18, they have hard outs, meaning they have to be done filming by 10 o'clock, mandatory by law.
True.
So, but when you have someone that's over 18, they can film all the way throughout the night. So that makes sense. I get that point.
Which I think the only one that was actually a teenager was the main character's sister.
Right.
I think she was an actual teenager.
Right. And I think even at 18, you could still keep them going for longer. But I think it's when they're minors, 17 and under, you have to give them hard outs, meaning by 10 o'clock at night, they have to be done filming. You know, and they can only start and end at a certain time. But when you have other older adults, actual, you know, adults, they can film whatever the call time calls for. Okay. So I get that point. But yeah,
like literally the girl's about as old as we are. Even during the entire time we were watching the film, I'm like, yeah, these girls are not teenagers. They're like our age.
Yeah,
they're
so
literally our age.
I can see how they tried to make it modern with the technology and watching the video, kind of like The Ring. You know, you watch it and you're gonna die in a couple days or whatever. So I was like, okay, I kind of gave it a pass, you know, because I was like, they're trying to be modern with it, but they didn't really expand upon that. And then all of a sudden, like now they're just like cursed by Slender.
And then like out of the blue, it became It.
Yeah.
It became It, but with teenage girls and Slender, and it's like, well, because after they watched the video, everybody started tripping balls.
Yeah.
Everybody started tripping balls, especially the black chick, who for the first couple, probably like the first 30 minutes, probably the smartest person in the entire group.
And she actually turned to be out the creepiest too.
She turned out to be the creepiest.
Yeah, when she started going crazy.
But then like she did the dumbest thing.
Yeah.
Which was open the blindfold.
I know.
Take off the blindfold.
Told not to. Yeah.
She was told not to, but she was so scared shitless that she took off the fucking blindfold.
See, here's my problem with that scene. They should have built it up a little bit more. Because I knew she was going to take the blindfold off when the character said, "Don't take the blindfold off."
Oh, yeah.
You know, and I'm all for horror. Like I'm all for if you didn't take the blindfold off, there's no scene. I get that, but you still have to build it up a little bit more. Like right when they put the blindfolds on and they did their little ritual or whatever, the first crack of a twig, she started taking it off.
Oh yeah.
You know, I would have liked to have built it up a little bit more. Hear the crack of the twig, and then she like looks in that direction, but with the blindfold on, and then you hear all these sounds and kind of build up more like sound design to where then she gets more scared and then takes it off. So to me, it felt like they lost potential in the scene because they didn't properly build it up.
And like keep this in mind. Like, this is literally the phrase of the entire review: wasted potential.
Yes, exactly.
Wasted potential.
Yeah.
Like when the black chick goes insane because I guess in the lore, if you look at, I don't know, for some odd reason, if you look at Slenderman in the face, you go insane.
Mm-hmm.
And and I'm like, okay, so the black chick looked at him and looked at his face. She went insane. What would have been great is that if she were to turn against like one of her friends, starts trying to kill him and everything, because she's so, batshit insane.
Right.
That she thinks that, I don't know, that they're attacking her or something, or Slender tells her to do it, something like that. And same with the quote unquote boyfriend.
Oh gosh.
The quote unquote
the love
boyfriend. Yeah, the love interest. Because
10 minutes of screen time.
The same with the love interest, who also did the fucking video thing, and he just his arc was so fucking short. I'm sorry.
It was very short.
Like he watched the video. That's it. Like you see him come back to school, all like creeped out. Or some shit like that. He was sketched the fuck out. He could also be like the one to start trying to kill, one of the girls.
Right.
But to me, that's wasted potential.
Why did he watch the video?
He has no reason why. He has no reason to.
I can see what they were trying to do.
Other than him being
they were trying
stupid.
to do like what It Follows did. Remember with the one kid and he likes the girl and he wants to help her type of thing. I can see that's what they were trying to do, but they didn't build up his character enough to establish that he liked her that much. To then watch the video.
No, because in the beginning of the movie, you just see him.
You just see him like briefly.
She talks to him, and that's it. I didn't even know his fucking name.
I know you don't really know his name until like an hour in.
Until she went to one of her friends, went to an emo friend, was like, I'm gonna go to Bill. I'm gonna go to Bill's house. I'm gonna go make out with Bill. I was like, his name is Bill?
I have a date with Bill.
Bill. I'm like, his name is Bill?
Yeah.
Oh, you would think like Justin.
Something, yeah.
Something like
Tyler.
that.
Something more unique than Bill.
Bill. Hell, William or Will would have been great, but Bill. His name is Bill.
Yeah, and he didn't have much of an arc, like how you said.
He didn't have that much of an arc.
I could have seen, if they would have built up his arc, I would have seen him being an integral part of the story.
Oh, yeah.
Like how you're saying, he could have went crazy, and then, since the main character's so close to him, could have been, got close to him, and he could have tried to kill her with a knife, and then saying, Bill's trying to kill me, and then it's Slender,
Yeah.
They could have done the whole thing like how Nightmare on Elm Street 2 did, where they took Freddy, and they pretty much possessed the main character, and then it was Mark Patton, the main character, killing people, but for Freddy.
Yeah.
Type of thing. They could have done something like that, too.
Could have done something like that, or like, if they're gonna do the whole trippy shit, then honestly, another waste of potential is like when they were on their date. No, literally, like, it's not even a fucking date. They literally went over to each other's house, went over to the dude's house, started making out, almost had sex, but then she started freaking out. Would have been great though is like one of her freakouts, like she literally thinks he killed her or some shit.
Right.
But in actuality, no, she's just tripping balls again.
Yeah.
But
yeah, there was a lot of wasted potential in this movie. In essence of story, and plot that they could have taken it.
Like there are some people that don't even need to watch the videos at all. Like the little sister, I don't even know why. Other than she wants to be part of the cool kids. It's like, no. These girls are fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Especially the boyfriend.
That they built up kind of nicely. And then the fact that one of the friends tricked the sister into watching it, that was a twist I didn't see coming. And that kind of felt like a personal hit. So that was something good for the story that they did. But they didn't, use it to the extent that I thought they were going to use it.
I can see why the friend tricked her to doing it, because at the end she's like, yeah,
she wants to be a part of it.
Slender doesn't want us. What was it? Slender doesn't want anything we love. He wants us. I'm like, so why did you
Yeah. And also, can we just briefly talk about sisters are not that nice.
Oh yeah, they're not that close.
Like in the beginning of the movie, they were like lovey fucking dovey.
They're like borderline lesbians.
Like my girlfriend and her sister, cut each other's throats, type of thing. They are down each other's throats all the time.
Oh, yeah.
So there's no, and most people that I know that have siblings, they're usually not like that.
Oh yeah, no.
It seemed too acting. if that makes sense.
They are way too close to be siblings. And, yeah, like, I personally should know I have, like, 4 other siblings. And, honestly, I mean, yeah, despite the fact that they're old, but, I mean, despite the fact that they're old, I still barely, talk to them and everything. Yeah, we're close, but we're not, like, lovey-dovey close and shit. Not like this.
Yeah.
And I've seen several sisters, too, and they, like you said, they cut each other's throat. They're at each other's throats.
Yeah.
Like, they'll literally fight each other. But
the friends, the group of friends felt real.
They felt real, yeah.
Yeah, they felt realistic. Like, their dialogue and everything kind of, bounced back and forth, and they all had, like, kind of their own unique personalities, which kind of, gave them some unique characteristics. Like how we said, the cast was fine. Like, I didn't have a problem with the cast. Me personally, I was fine with the cast. I liked all of the girls and the characters and everything that was in there. Even the weird dad of the one first girl that goes missing, he kind of gave me rapey vibes. So they could have elaborated a little bit on that.
Like he sexually abused her or something like that.
Something, yeah. Because I remember
why she wanted to leave.
Yeah, because she wanted to leave, and it kind of seemed like they were in a small rural town of America.
I think so. I think that's it, because they're always talking about getting out of the town.
Right. So it kind of seemed like stuff like that could go on, in those like smaller towns, not big city stuff, which could happen anywhere. But that was kind of creepy when they were sneaking up to his trailer and shit. You could have done some weird stuff with that. So you could have like misdirected and not done everything about Slender, and then have a little creepy like serial killer rapey vibes here, and then all of a sudden, boom, Slender comes back in, and then really. Because that can make you feel uncomfortable as a viewer, not expecting to see something like that.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden come back with the main scare, which is Slender. So you can misdirect.
Like, literally, it's like I said, like, there's wasted potential here.
Yeah.
And, like, there's also one waste of potential. Slender Slender shouldn't even have that much of an appearance, really.
He shouldn't.
He should appear once.
Right.
And then, trip everyone out to the point where either they're turning against each other or he's turning someone against them.
Yeah, because like how we said earlier, the two scares that they weren't even scares really, but the two appearances we liked to Slender were what? They were like very obscured, very vague, very dark. You can't really tell. But you could see it's Slender, and I think because going back into the style horror that I shoot, I like to shoot that way because I like your imagination to kind of put all the other pieces together that you don't see. And Slender, to me, is that type of character that, at least from the lore that we've known and playing the games, he's not someone that just is in your face. Yeah, he's someone that goes back in the corners in the shadows and like follows you and lurks and stalks you, not freaking turning into a spider chasing you down the forest.
He's not a fucking serial killer.
You can't see him clear as day.
He's not Pennywise.
Yeah, you don't see him clear as day ever, usually. If you do see him clear as day, it's only for a brief second and you're dead. Yeah. There is no like, oh crap, look at his face. Wow, you got a white face. You don't see all that because it's so quick. And they missed out on that, definitely.
Because every single time, I think, especially with Little Sisters, like, he has no face. Like, oh. It was like, okay, well, it's kind of obvious that she pretty much, watched the video and did everything because, she's freaking out like crazy.
Yeah.
In which, the fucking hospital scene.
Oh, man.
Oh, my God. Where she's tripping balls in a hospital scene.
Yeah.
That was the most unnecessary montage I have ever seen in a horror film in my life. What the fuck was going on with that?
Like, she literally left the room to go down the hallway to go somewhere. We don't fucking know. She went somewhere, had a trip, and then at the end of the montage, she's back in the room. And then, like, so that's, like, the whole theme, too, is I felt like they had a plot point, and normally when you're making a film, you would have some type of progression to the next plot point. They would just have plot A, brief montage, go back to plot A. Like backtrack.
Nothing happened. Like, nothing ever gets solved.
It didn't feel like the story progressed. It was just padded scenes and montages there to try to creep you out, but it didn't work, and then just go back to the same plot point, and they didn't progress the story.
And then half the trips are also fucking wasted potential, like the tall-ass doctor. Why can't he just be Slender? But no, we had to wait until, 2 minutes, a couple seconds after, just to actually get the scare, and it's like...
Yeah.
No,
it's like you already lost interest by that point too.
It's like this is like too. It's not. Yeah, like it's too long, or like it's too late for us to have that scare. You could have like had that scare where the tall guy turned into Slenderman, and that would freak her out. But
because they had a bunch of potential. Because the thing when I make my films is when I start to dial in my story and I try to figure out is it going to be paranormal or not. When you do paranormal, you have so much flexibility to like manipulate, misdirect, and do montages, do all these different things because you can get away with it because it's paranormal. But when you do like regular serial killer, you can't really do stuff like that because you can't get away with like certain things that paranormal things wouldn't be able to explain, right? So they had not only like a serial killer style character, but then they also had paranormal elements with it that they could have done. They had so much avenues of ways they could have went down with the story to really creep you the hell out, but also progress the plot. And they didn't use it. It seemed like they spent all the money, like I said, on the gear and the crew and everything else, but they didn't spend enough time to really nail down the story and like the beats and how that the story was going to progress.
Because I pretty much agree with you 100% on that. Because half of these montages makes no sense at all. Like half of them don't. There are some that do, like the black chick when she went mad, when she went insane. Right. Yeah, of course, she is, hallucinating that she's going to kill herself or shit. I mean, she looked into the motherfucker's face.
Yeah, so. And then you got Bill's small story arc. Remember, like how we said? She goes on a date with him, right? My understanding for the story, the whole reason for him to watch the video and then play a part into, being crazy and potentially trying to kill them. But no, he goes, watches the video, he freaks out, he's gone.
He's gone.
He's no more in the story.
He's fucking gone.
And it's like, so what was the whole point of her going on the date?
There's none.
To build that.
There's literally none.
It feels like, too, I don't know, it feels like they also shot certain scenes and they cut them out.
I think that's a problem. That probably is the main problem.
Because it feels like they had these really nice, try to build up for a story plot, and they just cut it out of the film. Like, oh, we don't need that. We just need to fit everything, all these other scenes in there.
The thing is, do you think there's a reason why? Maybe because, just rush time or something like that? It
seems like maybe, because I had this problem when I first started making my films, is it's called killing your babies, right? And it's like, when you shoot a scene or you shoot a shot or something, you love it so much because on production you spent so much time to shoot that scene. You spent so much time to do that. And even though it might be against the pacing and the whole overall story of your film, you don't want to cut it out. And it feels like, to me, they had problems with that. And they tried to cram a little bit of every scene that they shot for the movie into one, and it ruins the whole story. Does it feel like it progresses? Because there might have been a great build-up at the end of that hallway scene in the hospital.
Oh, yeah.
But they just went straight back to plot A, that they started from, and they didn't progress it. So it seems like, to me, they tried to cram too much into it, and they probably cut things out because maybe someone made a directorial decision to not use that scene. But it kind of seemed like that. Like, they had build-ups to certain things, but there was a plant, but it never paid off.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
That's because it did, because as of right now, I do kind of, see where you're coming from. Because it does feel like some scenes were missing.
Yeah.
Some build-ups were missing.
Right.
So,
maybe Bill did play a role in the climax, but they just cut it out altogether, and then they just had that scene because, we need a date scene. We need a make-out scene in a horror movie, so they threw that part in, but cut the rest.
Maybe originally the movie was supposed to be 2 hours long, or near 2 hours long,
right?
Because of the boyfriend's side story. But I guess, he barely plays that much. Oh, no, they probably think that he wasn't that much relevant.
Right.
Probably. And they just cut him off.
And the same thing, too, in the trailer, we see the black chick stab herself in the eye. And then in the movie, we don't see that.
No, she just goes and she goes mad. They check up on her. She pretty much just stands at the window, and that's it.
Which again would have been a great conclusion to her character, that we saw her go crazy and she kills herself in class.
Oh yeah,
that would have been horrifying to see. Imagine you going to freaking biology and freaking someone stabbing themselves in the eye with a scalpel next to you.
Oh yeah,
it'd be pretty terrifying. So it seems like they cut things out for certain reasons, and I don't know why, because it kind of ruined it.
And then there was the first girl who went missing, where she just goes missing.
The way they edited that, I don't know if there was more shots that they should have done, but like how I told you after we were done watching it, it was just like a jump cut. So you see her looking at the forest, and then boom, it's like a passage of time, and you can't even tell it's a passage of time until the dialogue starts.
Until they're like, "Hey, everybody go into the bus or some shit."
Yeah, it's like, whoa! How many hours has this been? What you're so what the hell happened? Type of thing. And they might have tried to do that for that kind of cinematic impact, but it did not run.
It did not work.
It did not work.
Like, they could at least have it to where, I don't know, how she disappeared into the forest or anything like that.
Right.
Or I think you brought up a suggestion where, what was it? Like, she looks at the forest, then it cuts back to the kids, to the teenagers talking to each other. And then it cuts back to her, like, walking into the forest, something like that. Or, like, she disappears.
Yeah, because it seemed like what they were trying to get at least with the edit, was that all of a sudden she's just going to be gone out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But instead of using just a hard cut and a passage of time, they could have continued the scene with the other kids, the dialogue, right? We have the shot of her standing there looking at the forest, so you already get that inclination that she wants to go into the forest. But then you cut back to the kids, and they're still walking down the path, but they don't notice that she's not following along with them. And then, do several shots of some dialogue, some build up, maybe a funny, humorous moment, and then someone breaks going, hey, where's Clarissa, or where's she at? And then they look back at the shot where she used to be, and she's gone now. That would make more sense, and then they start freaking out. Then a passage of time. Then they're still looking for her in the school bus. It just seems like they didn't progress the scenes. There's a progression from A to B, and it seems like they just cut that out. And that's where the story felt lackluster. It felt like it didn't flow because they would just cut from one thing to the next and then have a brief montage of something and then doesn't make any sense. And then going back to the first point. It was all over the place.
It was.
It was all over the place.
Like, it was all over the place, but also didn't do much.
Yeah.
Like, it was weird.
It could have been the editor. It could have been multiple different people that made these decisions, in the editing room.
I'm just going to blame the entire team. Actresses, too.
Yeah. So, okay. So we talked about this for about half an hour, so maybe we should move on. But overall, again, just our final thoughts on it. Again, me, 2.5 stars. 2. And for all the reasons that you already heard. Only good thing is cinematography.
I give it a 2. Yeah, the only good thing, the only redeeming factor is the cinematography.
And some sound design, I would say. That's it.
Yeah.
Because that's important for horror, and they did do some cool things with, like, the creaking of the trees and stuff like that.
But everything else, fuck that shit.
But that kind of segues into our next topic, which is kind of just still filmmaking, still in the filmmaking realm.
Pretty much, you've been working on your films lately.
Yep. I would love anybody that listens to this podcast definitely go over and check out my channel because I'm always looking for feedback. On my films, I'm not perfect. I'm learning, and that's why we do these these reviews and analyze other films. But
even though this channel probably won't be as big as yours, but
yeah, you never know. It's taken me years even to get 200 subscribers, so you never know.
I mean, yeah.
But yeah, no. So I've been trying to just build as much, I guess, skills as I can in the horror genre, and that's why I love the horror genre. I kind of grew up with it, and I've been trying to build as much as I can. And I just released a new film called Whistling Silence, which is again inspired by James Wan's Dead Silence, which is a movie kind of like an Annabelle style movie. I don't know if you've seen that one either.
No, I really do need to start watching the Conjuring series again.
Yeah, it's not even connected to the Conjuring series. This is it a
prequel?
No, it's actually a separate movie. So James Wan made Saw, which got him well known, and then this was like his next big directorial thing, which was Dead Silence, which was about the doll. It's a ventriloquist doll, and it cuts your tongue out, so you can't speak. And then it has this cool plot to it where if the doll is about to kill you, it changes the environment around you. So if you had a tea kettle back on the stove, right, and it was boiling, and you had a clock ticking, right, and then the doll, if it was going to kill you, it would change the environment and make everything quiet. So you would still see the tea kettle boiling, you would still see the clock ticking, but you wouldn't hear anything. It'd just be silence, so dead silence. And then all of a sudden, boom, the jump scare would come and get you. So it's a cool little concept, and I kind of wanted to use that in my own film, which is what Whistling Silence is there was a scene in the beginning of that movie where the main character, she sees she puts the doll on the bed, and then later back, when she comes back, there's a sheet over it, and then if you watch my short, it's kind of the same kind of concept, but it's a curtain. So yeah, I got heavily inspired by James Wan for a lot of stuff, and I love his aesthetics of his films, but recently it seems like he's went too crazy with the action, like how we talked about with Slender. So I'm curious to see what he's going to come out with next, and hopefully he kind of goes back to his old roots, But yeah, so definitely check out any of my films.
I'll put in the description below.
Yeah, no, that would be cool because I'm just trying to build as much feedback as I can too to get better. So anybody that watches this, definitely go check it out. Tell me what you think.
All right. Yeah. And then lately, I've gotten back into script writing, so writing some skits and everything.
Right.
They're not completely finished, But who knows? Maybe in about a couple months, maybe a month or so, maybe it'll be finished.
Right.
They're more comedic, pretty much. Probably Evolve Us, maybe.
Mm-hmm. I'd probably be on this channel, right? You'll release those skits.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
That this. I mean, yeah. This concept, as well as the concept of Wolf versus the World, everything like that. Just right now, yeah, it's kind of in the concept stage. Yeah. I mean, there's some like early forms of like some especially the return of one of our previous characters, Matt Gutenberg.
Yes. I'm looking forward to that, which stars me, by the way.
I finally gave him a full name. His name is Matthias something Gutenberg the Fourth or some shit.
Imagine it was Matthew Santoro Gutenberg.
You know what? That's not that bad. I mean, Matt Santoro probably greatly honored, even though he doesn't know who we are.
Yeah, I know, right?
He has no idea who we are, but he's like, I'm glad you guys are like my fans or something like that. Like, well, I mean, we.
This is funny because kind of tell them like where the history of that skit came from, though, because it's kind of funny like how it got to be.
Honestly, it's been so long since we did it. I think we just like one day just like, you know what if we made like a parody of a skateboarder, but he's actually riding a scooter. And he always thinks he's badass.
Because I think it was like one day I was like, let's film something, and then.
Which is every day back then.
Yeah, I'm out, and then you were kind of like, okay, what are we going to film? And I was like, well, I looked at my garage, I'm like, I got a scooter. So I was like, well, what if we had like because like BMX guys and skateboarders.
They always think they're so badass.
Yeah, they're always like fighting, like it's a feud between BMX and skateboarding. But what if like some like random scooterer comes into that conversation, and he's like, well, you guys ain't hardcore, I'm fucking hardcore. Fucking like, wheels in your bearings and shit.
Honestly, if I can like find a way to get that fucking skit back. I mean, it's on Facebook. I can literally.
I was meant to ask you too. This just reminded me. Didn't we shoot a part of that skit at Del Taco?
Yeah.
Do you still have that footage anywhere?
Sadly, no.
Because I remember when we. Because what would I say in that skit? I was like, "What sauce you want to get? You got to get the green sauce."
Yeah.
Fucking pussy.
I think it was red. No, I think it was red sauce. Green sauce is for pussies.
And you know what's funny? Where I kind of got the inspiration for that character,
what?
in essence of the voice and stuff. Have you ever seen Napoleon Dynamite?
No.
I don't think I've ever told you this. But there's this character in there, and his name's I think Rex, and he has a dojo, right? He's a martial arts instructor.
What the fuck?
And he wears. I'll have to show you the clip later. And he wears these like American sweatpants, and you see his ad on the television. He's like, "You want to be like me?" He's like, "Self-defense classes, yeah." Anybody that's seen Napoleon Dynamite, you'll definitely understand what I'm talking about. But he's like this. He's a piece of crap. He doesn't know anything about martial arts. But he has these infomercials or whatever that are on television to like, you want to be like me and be an American hero, And he's like, I spent time in Iraq and Vietnam. I could teach you the ways. And that's where I got the inspiration for that character, because legitimately his character is like the epitome of like trying to be hardcore, but he knows nothing about being a martial arts instructor. So why not apply that to a scooterer that wants to technically be like a BMX and skateboard person? Right? Then pretends to be hardcore.
You know what's funny though? Like in the skit, you like rode a skateboard and it's like, this is for pussies.
This is for pussies. I threw it and grabbed a scooter, which is ironic because it's more of a pussy thing to ride a scooter. Which is that's a skit that we definitely want to do and bring back, because I think now with our level of knowledge of filmmaking and things, we can make it really good.
Like then it's gonna be like it's also in a concept stage. Like right now, it's more of a where is he now type of thing. More like it's like a sequel / reboot. Right. I want to say
I was fancying the idea of making it a series.
Okay.
Like a little small series, maybe not like 50 episodes, but just like a 5 series thing. Yeah, just to see how it does, and if it does well, then maybe make it into a bigger thing. But no, because I think it's a good character. And if the way we write the story now, I think we can make it very interesting and comical. I think we can.
Yeah, this one's more like he has they say that, I think it opens up with, maybe he settled down, maybe he's in jail. It's like, no, he pretty much just has a girlfriend. I don't know what he's doing. He's pretty much just chilling.
Yeah.
In which he has a nearly psychotic girlfriend. Well, in this draft, yeah. Yeah. She's nearly psychotic, but yeah. Also, kind of an ironic character, because like majority, I don't know why, like majority, I wanted to like speak Spanish majority of the time. Well, just Like, if she's, like, on screen, as in, like, with you and everything, yeah, she just speaks Spanish the entire time. But if it's just me interviewing her, like, the interviewer interviewing her, she speaks English.
Right.
But she speaks English. And
it'd be funny if my character's not in the room.
Yeah.
Because then I would never know she speaks English.
But, like, but I also want to end that type of, I guess, arc in a way where, like, he realizes that she actually can speak English, and he takes it like she cheated on him or something.
Yeah.
He was like, "Oh my, you can speak English the entire time? I feel hurt. Like, you never told me." Like, I mean, I went to elementary school with you, you dumbass. How would you not know?
Yeah, there's a lot of story elements that we want to put into this skit. I think it could be pretty funny.
And I also want to add, like, several characters. Like,
yeah.
There was one actually.
Heck yeah.
Also, I was actually thinking about incorporating the creepy dude.
Oh, yeah.
The creepy dude.
Yeah.
Crazy Pete, which is just my character.
Mm-hmm.
Technically, you're supposed to be Matt Goodberg's best friend.
Mm-hmm.
In which, honestly, I think the 10-year or 5 years from now version of him, probably a rapper or some shit.
Yeah.
So I'll probably make, like, some dumbass rap song or something.
Right.
Yeah,
so
I can't rap for shit.
That's stuff coming soon to the channel for sure. That we'll be making some comedy skits, all that kind of stuff.
Especially whenever I get better equipment, then yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so now we are heading towards our video game segment of our the podcast. See, we're both gamers here.
Yep.
Have been for probably ever since we were kids, honestly.
So, yeah.
So
started in the PS1 days, man.
PS1 days. I had N64 before I even, like, got anything else.
So you're a Nintendo OG.
Somewhat, because, like, my brother, who was, like, 19, 20 at the time, had a fucking PS1. But I was like, I want to play that. But then my mom wound up getting me an N64. I'm like, all right. Sure, why not?
I never had Nintendo until you gave me the GameCube. That was the only thing I've ever had Nintendo, other than GameCube, or not the GameCube, Game Boy. Sorry, that was the only thing I ever had that was Nintendo.
Like growing up, it was mostly Nintendo and Sony. I wasn't really that interested in Microsoft at the time because, since we were, like, born in the 90s, we grew up with, like, the GameCube, Xbox, and PS2.
They were kind of late to the game when it came to stuff too. So yeah.
So
they entered the industry a little later.
I didn't really get into Xbox until 360, and mostly because Sonic 06, and the PS3 was just too goddamn much.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was like $600, wasn't it?
It was $600. It was $500 to $600, and it was 2006.
Yeah, you're right.
It's worth like nearly $1,000 now because if you do the inflation. So it's worth like near $1,000,
which is crazy because like these new consoles are right around the same price.
But I think people, it's weird. Like, I think people can probably afford them, but then again, it's the pandemic, so
we'll see how
the economy is kind of fucked.
Yeah, we'll see how the economy recovers and stuff. That's why I predict very big price drops around the holidays.
Oh yeah,
I do. I predict it if they don't sell the units that they think they're going to sell. Which I'm looking at Microsoft, not Sony as much on that one.
Because like when the PS4 came out, PS4 and Xbox One came out, it was like $400. The PS4 was $400, and the Xbox One was $500.
Yeah,
but that's mostly because of the fucking Kinect.
Yeah, that's true.
It should have been like $390. It should have been like $350 or some shit.
Right.
Because it was not as powerful as the PS4, and I don't know why they even thought about putting all their effort into the Kinect.
Right.
Because that's literally where most of the hardware came from. That's the reason why it was so weak.
Right.
It's because of the Kinect. But they wanted $500 for that shit.
It's too expensive, yeah.
And then once when they came out, the Xbox One X, the Xbox One S, and then PS4 Slim, PS4 Pro. Thing with the PS4 Pro, it's like $500 back when it came out. Same with the Xbox One X, it was also $500. So it makes sense, like right now.
It seems like they refined the console as the generation kept going on, and by the time they got to the Xbox One X, it's like that's what it should have been when it released.
It should have. It should have been. But then again, like many gamers will say, this is about the games more than the console itself. And which, I understand that.
Yeah, I get that too.
But I mean, if you're a developer, though, I don't know about that. Like if you're a developer, you probably want more power to display your art.
And it also goes into, as you being a developer, I think, we've like in the past we've seen with video games some consoles or some hardware is actually harder to develop for. So
PS3, the Atari Jaguar.
Right. So does hardware matter? It is a question I think we wrote down, and I think it kind of does to an extent of developers, but not so much for
gamers.
The gamers, yeah. Because when it comes to consoles,
yeah. Because with gamers, it's like, look, depending on which hardware you get, you're going to either get the same game or you're going to get, a game that is in your interest.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like there were some consoles, like way back in the day, there used to be version differences and shit, where some games are literally two completely different games.
Yeah.
Like Batman, what was it? Batman and Robin. The Adventures of Batman and Robin. I remember you grew up with the Genesis version.
Yes, correct.
I played the Super Nintendo version, and they're both completely different games. Which is funny. They're both hard as fuck, but
right, yeah.
The Super Nintendo version was more based on the show.
Gotcha.
Like it literally looked like it has the same animations, and everything. And then I played the Genesis version with you. It's more like Contra, but with Batman.
Right. Gotcha.
I don't know. To me, it looks like Contra with Batman.
Right, that's interesting, having different version differences like that. I don't think we see that as apparent now, huh? No. But back then, it was more of a apparent difference, huh?
Well, nowadays, it's like, especially now with Activision, because lately, I don't know what the fuck's with Activision and PlayStation, but they just add more shit to, whenever they release a Call of Duty, they add more shit to the PlayStation version.
Yeah.
Like with, like, for example, Modern Warfare.
Okay.
It just had one game mode. It had one less. Every other version had one less game mode than the PlayStation version.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because they had like a different game mode, right? Didn't they even include zombies in one of them, and then not the other versions?
That's I think that's the current one.
That's the current one. Oh, okay.
Yeah, the current one. The PS4 and PS5 versions will have zombies. Every other version won't. I believe.
Weird. That is weird.
As well as the PS4, PS5 version will have extra loadout slots. They'll have extra shit. Extra
Why do you think that is?
gear.
Why do you think they only include versions like that in the PlayStation stuff?
I'm just gonna assume that PlayStation gave them more money.
Oh, okay, so they get that included game mode. It just seems weird that they would have to, as the game developer, develop only one game mode for one particular console. because
I think it was Survival in Modern Warfare. Yeah. That they omitted from, it's in the game now. Like if you were to play it now, it's in the game now. But back then, it was the PS4 version was the only one that actually had survival.
That's interesting.
I believe it's called Survival.
Right.
But like I've heard like many people were pissed off about it, but we weren't really that affected.
No, yeah.
We were just playing, multiplayer.
Right.
In which, you played on PC, then I played on PS4.
Yeah.
Which that would be funny though if like, I don't know, like if you played on PC, somebody played on Xbox, and I played on PS4. That would be something.
Yeah, I know. Especially with the crossplay stuff being more popular, it seems like now.
And I'm guessing the latest one is going to be crossplay too.
I would imagine we're going to see a lot, at least in the Call of Duty franchise, that's going to be a theme going forward, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's also crossplay. Like if you played a game on the PS5, you'll see more PS4 and Xbox Series X and Xbox Ones.
I would imagine that's going to be a theme going forward.
At launch, the game's going to be a fucking mess, I bet.
Oh, yeah.
The game's going to be a fucking mess.
Doesn't Cold War come out soon?
I think it comes out next week.
Right, which is actually kind of cool because, the Xbox Series X...
Series X came out yesterday, and the PS5 is coming out tomorrow. At the time of this recording, it's coming out tomorrow.
Tomorrow, okay. Gotcha.
And... Reviews have already been out. Been out.
Yeah, of course.
Austin Evans, shout out to him.
Yep. Hey guys, this is Austin. Austin, if you ever listen to this, please start bringing that back to the beginning of your videos. He doesn't say it anymore, and it upsets me.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
He just goes, "Hey guys," and then he doesn't do it. This is Austin.
Like, hey guys, I got the PS5 and I got the Xbox Series X and S.
It's like, Austin, we want to hear you say it. Hey guys, this is Austin.
But I remember him talking about the Series X and saying that, if you are a diehard Xbox fan, you're more likely to get the Xbox One, Series X. But if you're not, say you're not like a total diehard, you probably either get the Series S or nothing at all.
Right. Which one are you kind of leaning more towards at the moment?
Fuck. pretty much more PS5.
PS5.
But it was mostly because Microsoft delayed. Well, 343 delayed Halo Infinite.
Infinite, yeah. That's going to be their big console seller.
If that wasn't the case, yeah, it'd be more Xbox Series X.
Right.
Because I play my Xbox more anyway.
Right. Yeah, because that's definitely going to be the biggest console seller for Microsoft and Xbox is that Halo Infinite. So the faster they can get that sucker developed and out, yeah, it's going to make a lot more consoles sell, I think, for sure. Because right now it just kind of seems like get the Xbox Series X to enhance your games you already have.
Pretty much, yeah. That's pretty much
and
it.
Get better hardware.
That's pretty much it.
And kind of get into the next gen already, and then just now wait for the games to be released.
I mean, there are some games that are coming out, like Medium, I believe.
Right.
Like Medium, there's Assassin's Creed Valhalla, but you can get that on last gen.
Right.
You can get NBA 2K. That's also on last gen.
Oh gosh. I used to be all about the 2K games, and I'm so over sports games now.
2K has fallen from grace within the past 3 years.
Yeah.
Like, there's I guess apparently there's like a certain player that has like a 1%, like 0.1% chance of getting.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
It's crazy. It's crazy. But yeah, you can get Spider-Man Miles Morales is PS5, but yeah, I think that's pretty much the only thing you know.
I think they're developing a new State of Decay.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
State of Decay 3.
So you can still get State. But again, it's just all the same games.
It's in 2021 though.
Yeah, you could play on your Xbox now. You don't really need to buy the new console right away.
That's the weird thing about Microsoft too, is that they have that Microsoft Play Anywhere.
Yeah.
So there are some next gen games. They're also going to be on PC. Right. But as we pretty much encountered probably not too long ago, like I've encountered this probably like yesterday. Certain games on the net, Play Anywhere, doesn't work.
Oh, really?
It doesn't work well.
And this is like the cloud-based thing, right?
Yeah.
Where you could play like on your phone?
Yeah, like
thing like that?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, the phone one is actually pretty good.
Okay.
As long as you have good service and a wireless controller. But I mean, like, yesterday I tried to play Wolfenstein Youngblood on my computer because one of these days we'll probably play Wolfenstein Youngblood and make fun of it and shit. Right. Who knows? Maybe review it. Yep. And the game just it was unplayable. Maybe it's because my PC is pretty much shit. Right. I mean, it is an old 2017 laptop, so yeah.
Which I've experienced some issues though on my PC too, on my desktop, and my desktop can run most of these next gen games, and because I downloaded Recore and like some older 360 titles on the Game Pass, which is like Alan Wake and stuff. They all max out at 30 frames. I can't get it any way if I change the settings to go past 30 frames. And sometimes it'll even frame drop down to 10, 15 frames, and it's just unplayable. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not good.
So yeah, I think it's also just issues with the Game Pass, the ports or whatever they're doing to make it available.
Not that great.
Yeah, to make it available on PC.
Because even Master Chief Collection was
it's unplayable. It's horrendous, and I know for sure it's not my computer because I downloaded the Steam version of Master Chief Collection, and it runs fine. I can run it at like 2K. Resolution at like 60 frames, easy. No problem. So it's definitely not my computer.
It's not. If it's that, yeah, it's literally.
It's their version, it's whatever their version, and sometimes it won't even download.
Oh no! No, it will not.
Pass, so
if it, shit, like I remember when I downloaded the collection from Game Pass, the collection itself, not the games inside the collection, the collection. I installed the collection as in whenever I boot the game up, it would just have the collection going, not the games.
Yeah, it's just the actual like app to up to. But then when you click the game, it says this game is not downloaded.
You gotta like it counts as DLC, in which I don't know. In my opinion, it's kind of like the dumbest thing they've ever done, where they just release the games as DLC. I mean, I understand, porting is hard. Yeah, but like you guys pretty much did all this like 5 years ago, right? On the original Xbox One. I'd rather just play the Xbox One
And
version.
they kind of released each game weird, too. Like, when the collection came out for PC...
It was just Halo 1.
They didn't release all the games. It's just...
Like, they just now released Halo 4 yesterday.
Did they really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They released Halo 4 yesterday, which I don't give a shit.
Which I'm surprised... I'm kind of surprised, too, they went from Halo 1, 2, 3, ODST, then 4.
Yeah.
I thought they would have probably just skipped ODST because not a lot of people really like that title.
I mean, I don't think anybody likes 4 either. So.
Oh, well, we played that thing all the way through, and we wanted to rip our freaking hair out, dude.
I played drunk too. That's the fuck thing.
And it still wasn't enjoyable. And this is coming from a avid Halo fan, diehard Halo fan here. Like, I love Halo, mainly 1 through 3, and ODST. I'll throw it in there.
What about 5?
It's better than 4. it's definitely better than 4. It's better than 4.
It's better than 4.
When Halo 4 came out, I liked it. Because I didn't play campaign.
That's the thing, though.
Because I didn't care about it.
The multiplayer was great.
The multiplayer was fine, yeah.
But then you played a story, and I can understand why people skipped over Halo 4.
Yeah, the story was horrible.
The story was horrible. The boss fight was just...
Yeah.
The final boss fight... What final boss fight? Honestly?
I know.
It's a cutscene. Not even a cutscene. It was a quick time event.
Halo 5 was just... I think the multiplayer was even better than 4, and the campaign. Not only the story was better, but it was actually more cinematic and climactic. Like there was an actual fight, and then you actually cared about Locke and the other characters that you were playing as. I don't know. And we played it with our friend Shaden, and it was fun. It was actually an enjoyable campaign.
And with Locke. Yeah, and the entire time, Locke was just, trying to cuck Master Chief.
Yeah.
He was trying to cuck Master Chief, and Master Chief just didn't like it.
I know, it was kind of interesting to see them fight in a cutscene,
I kind of wish it was an actual boss fight.
I know, same.
But then again, I kind of wish there were boss fights in general in Halo.
Yeah.
Which I understand, Halo first-person shooter, but there are first-person shooters that actually have boss fights.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, Metroid Prime, Resident Evil 7.
Yeah.
Let's see. I think a Gears of War game. I think Gears of War games probably have boss fights.
They do. Yeah. Yeah, because you have those, at least in the first Gears of War, you have those big juggernaut things that run through the wall. Those are technical boss fights.
But then again, that's like a third-person shooter, so I guess, that... No offense, but there are first-person shooters that actually have boss fights.
Right.
Like, I think I probably recently played a first-person shooter that actually had a boss fight. I forgot which, but...
Right. So you're gonna go. So you're going more PS5.
PS5
right now. I'm going more neither.
Well, you're a PC gamer.
Yeah, because I'm a PC gamer.
You're a PC gamer, so there's no
but I do lean more towards, I think, the Xbox side, just because of my history.
Yeah.
And I do like some of the exclusives that Xbox does, even though most PlayStation fanboys will say there is no exclusives. But I do love Gears of War. I do love Halo. I do love State of Decay, which is an Xbox exclusive. So there's games, because I love my zombie games and I love my Halo. So.
And not only that, though, ever since Microsoft bought, everything, they bought Obsidian. They just bought Bethesda.
Yeah, that's true.
So, after, this year, anything new from Bethesda and Obsidian, going to be for Xbox.
Right.
So if you want to play the next Elder Scrolls, well, you have to wait until... Well, you have to get on the Xbox. Or either on the Xbox or on the PC.
On the PC, yeah. Which is nice, and kind of, again, why I'm leaning more towards the Xbox side, just because I am a PC gamer, so it's easier for me to transition to the Xbox, because even though I have a PC, I still have an Xbox subscription with Game Pass, because I can download the games, and they need, like how we said, they need to fix that shit, but once they do, it'll be very beneficial. It'll be a nice, easy transition to get the new Xbox Series X and just to jump right in. Because
you basically have a Series X anyway.
In a way, yeah. Mine's not as powerful as the Series X, but yeah, my PC's not as powerful, but yeah, no, definitely, it's close. It could probably play some of these next gen games that are going to be coming out, probably at medium to low settings, but
yeah,
all the current gen stuff I can play pretty much on high. Run 60 frames just fine. Yeah, and probably even more, because I think I played Destiny at 90. Destiny 2, yeah, I played it at 90 frames, 90 to 100 frames, which is nothing substantial, because the people are probably playing it on 120 and stuff like that. But my monitor can't even display 120 frames per second, so I just put the frame rate limit cap at 60, because that's what it can display anyways. So
at least you can actually play at least 4K 120. Like the Series X, by the way, I've heard, and I also think the PS5 is going to be as well. Is that it's going to be 1080p, 120 frames per second.
Okay.
So it just degrades the visual quality.
Right.
So you're pretty much sacrificing visual quality for frame rate.
For frame rate, which is what I would do.
Which is fine.
Anyways, yeah, I'm fine with 1080p 120.
But also you need like a TV that can do
that.
that can do 120 frames
which is a whole nother issue that you have to spend money on.
In which I'm personally not going to buy a new TV just so I can see shit, run smoother. Mm-hmm. I'm good with 60.
Right. Yeah, 60 for me for gaming is fine.
I'm good with 60. I mean, hell, Demon's Souls probably good with 60.
120, I feel like, is a luxury. Mm-hmm. I feel like that's a luxury thing. If you can get it, and if you have a TV that can display it, then do it. But the 60 frames is going to be majority fine for plenty. I'd say 98% of gamers, that's going to be plenty fine, 60 frames.
Because, gaming, in the entirety of gaming, 60 frames per second has been a thing since, the 90s.
Yeah, I remember the first time I actually seen something at 60 frames was when you played Sonic Lost World. That was the first time I was like, this is smooth as shit.
Yeah.
And I actually noticed that it made a huge difference, especially in a platformer like that, and especially being a 3D world and stuff. I remember, because we played that on the Wii U, correct?
Yeah, Sonic Lost World? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, my God. I remember seeing all the games that you were playing on there, like platformer stuff, was so smooth, and it made such a huge difference when you came to the performance.
It has to be at 30 to 60 frames a second, because, platforming.
Right.
Because you can't really make a single mistake. It's kind of like with Dark Souls.
Yeah.
With Dark Souls, you also can't play at 30. You have to play that shit at 60.
At 60. And that kind of also, I think Nintendo needs to be in this conversation. Okay, now I know they haven't had any new released consoles or anything like that that's going crazy.
There's speculations.
They're the sleeper of the bunch. I'm telling you. They're the sleeper of the bunch. They come in quiet. All of a sudden, Xbox comes out with their console, and all the craze is about Xbox and PlayStation, and then a year from now, Nintendo's going to come out with some crazy new console where you can do something crazy. They're innovative as hell. So
that'd be funny if their next console is a virtual reality room or some shit.
Dude, right? I mean, because VR is going to be rising in popularity, which it already has, but it's going to get even more popular, I think, with this next generation. Yeah, that'd be crazy if Nintendo comes out with because what I've been wanting from Nintendo, and they kind of did this with the Wii. I want to be able to bring arcade into my home. And I remember I played Resident Evil. Was it Umbrella Corporation?
Yeah, Umbrella Corp.
Where I could actually get the Wii Zapper thing, the gun, and it wasn't that responsive. But if Nintendo could do something like that again, where they release maybe a series or port some of those old arcade classic shooter games and be able to play that in my home, in my living room right here, that to me would be so cool. Now, it wouldn't be hard, and there's technology to do it now. Oh, yeah. But with the more intense motion capture technology and the gyroscope technology that they have in their consoles and stuff, I feel like we could do it to where it's super freaking accurate. I would want something like that, for me personally. But Nintendo, I think, is a sleeper of the bunch. They're going to come out with something crazy.
They're going to come out with something.
Yeah.
Bro, I really do. Honestly, I really do hope it's something stupid either. Because once when they have a successful console, then they do something stupid with it, where I don't know, they do something stupid with their next console, like the Wii U, where it's a good console, but the naming was so dumb. They could have called it something else, and they would have got more sales.
Yeah.
But what I've heard, their second mistake was that they made it too weak.
Right.
It's pretty much just a PS3.
What about Wii Plus?
Wait, what the fuck?
What about that? What if that would have been the good naming convention?
No,
it's the Wii, right? But plus more.
Nah, they probably still think that's an accessory.
An accessory? Yeah, that's true.
I would think at least, I don't know, its code name. Because some of these consoles have good code names.
What was the code name for the Wii U? Do you remember?
No.
It's like Black Widow or something, huh?
It's probably something cool. Because the Wii's code name was Revolution.
Oh, sick. Yeah, that's actually pretty dope.
And then the GameCube's code name was, funny enough, Dolphin.
Dolphin?
The Dolphin.
Okay, I'm glad that it was called the GameCube instead.
It was called the Dolphin.
Yeah.
And the chip, there's literally a chip that actually has a dolphin on it.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
And the emulator itself actually is called the Dolphin.
It's called the Dolphin. Yeah,
it's called the Dolphin. But yeah, I like Revolution, and I think it was also called Revolution 2 or some shit.
Because I really liked the Wii U. I think it was an underrated console in essence of because that was the first taste I ever got of the gamepad thing, and now they elaborated that with the Switch. But I remember the game that we played together. That just freaking boom.
The Zombie U was actually the multiplayer was great.
Multiplayer was awesome. Like, if you guys ever played it, like, whoever had the gamepad was like God.
Pretty much.
He could spawn zombies wherever he wanted, and then the other player was either playing with Wiimote nunchuck or, like, the gamepad controller. And, yeah, he was fighting the zombies. You know, whoever that person was running around the map. But on the gamepad, you could see the other character running around from, like, a top-down perspective, and you could just spawn zombies around a corner so he turns the corner. Dude, that game was fun. That was awesome that they were able to take that gamepad and be able to use it as a second-player controller and integrate that into the game. That just blew my mind in a sense of, like, how fun that was. And the fact that it didn't gain more traction surprised me.
Like what's even funnier? Like many people would downplay the Wii U, saying it doesn't do 1080p 60.
I don't care.
I'm like, honestly, it does do 1080p 60.
Right.
Super Smash Bros. 4 was 1080p 60.
Sonic Lost World, like I was just saying, right? That was
1080p. It was also 1080p 60.
That was a beautiful game, beautiful graphically and beautiful with the frame rate and everything. It was perfect.
Well, I believe it's 1080p 60. It could be 720p 60. But regardless, it's still 60 frames a second.
Yeah, it was great. And I remember when you were playing it, you were saying that too. You're like, wow, this is so smooth. You know, it made a difference when you played the game. It made it more enjoyable, you know, versus a 4K image.
I mean, now it's on, the game's on PC, so.
Right, yeah.
Well, no, I haven't heard much about the PC version, so. Yeah. But yeah, like, on the Wii U, it looked great.
And the same thing goes for Assassin's Creed 3. That was one of my favorite Assassin's Creeds. I'm playing that on the Wii U because you gave me that game.
Yeah, because I didn't like it.
And it was so much more, and it's such a small detail, but like being able to like play it on the TV and just look down at my gamepad and see my map and inventory was so like...
It's so convenient.
It was so convenient, yeah.
It was so convenient.
I didn't have to like hit a button to open the map. I could like literally be hiding in a bush, look down and see my map and be like, okay, I need to go there. And then tap on the gamepad and put a waypoint.
Like,
and then just go run to it.
Yeah, and I'm like, many people who like didn't have a Wii U didn't really understand like the convenience of a gamepad.
And it had a gyroscope built into the gamepad. Nintendo is innovative, man.
Like, they're innovative as fuck, but back then though, everybody was down, talking down on the Wii U. I was like, I think you and I were like the only ones of our friend group that actually was defending it.
Yeah, I liked it. I loved the Wii U. I thought it was an awesome console.
Everybody else is like PS4 all the way,
right?
And shit. Nobody actually gave a fuck about the Xbox One except for me, probably. Well, for like a good couple of months, and then you got one.
Yeah.
But then, like the entire time,
I told you to give me the Xbox, and you remember that?
Yeah, he's dressed up as like a Grim Reaper type character.
Yeah, it was like August too, wasn't it? Or
no,
September?
It was like October-ish. Maybe it was August, somewhere around there.
I'm notorious for getting my Halloween decorations out months in advance.
I think it was around like September or some shit. Because, like we didn't, I don't even think we didn't hang out until like I think around that time.
Yeah,
September.
You just got it.
We were busy at the time.
You got it close to launch.
Not even close to launch. It was like almost a year after launch.
Oh, a year after launch.
It was pretty much a birthday present for me.
You came over and I dressed up as the Grim Reaper and I had a voice changer and I reached out my hand and said, "Give me the Xbox."
What really convinced me to get the Xbox One at the time was Halo Master Chief Collection.
That's right. Yeah, because I remember you were the first one to get that, and I was like fangirling over it. I think that's what made me get an Xbox. Was that? Yeah.
And
that's true.
Even though I do miss the old VCR thing.
Yeah.
I still love the Xbox One X.
I kind of do miss the Wii U. I would actually look. I'm probably gonna look on eBay and see if I can get one. Because remember I was telling you I want to get something for me and Deanna to play. It might just be better just to get the Wii U because I could probably play Nintendo Land and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but I mean you can also just get a Switch.
They're hard to find right now, bro, and they're price gouging the crap out of them. I can't find any of them for like under $400.
You can find like a good one at Walmart.
They're out of stock. Gone.
Already?
Yeah, I've checked.
The fuck?
They've been gone since March.
Wait, what the fuck?
Yeah, they've been gone. Like you could. There's probably other people that have experienced the same thing. Like you can't find them anywhere. That's why people bought them out for COVID because they knew it was going to be popular, and they were just price gouging them on like Facebook Marketplace and all these other places, eBay. You know the lights? You know the Nintendo Switch lights?
Yeah.
Retail $200, right? $200 is what the retail price is for them. I cannot find one for the price of the actual Switch. $350. They're all for like $300, $350 on like all these other places.
What the fuck?
Yeah, because people know that they were going to go out of stock and people were going to buy them, and Nintendo's already notorious for not making enough units of something. So it's even more rare. It's hard to find.
Because it's kind of it kind of reminds me of back when it released in 2017. I literally didn't get it like a whole month after release because I know everybody and their mom's going to get it.
Here's my thing: if I buy Wii U and I get Zombie U for it, would that multiplayer still be there?
I hope so.
That's enough for me to buy one.
I fucking hope so.
Right there, that's enough for me to buy.
It's local, so I'm hoping so.
Right? It's not like they need a server for something like that. No. So if I bought one and then you came over and we played it, we could repeat what we did back in 2012.
Yeah.
Bam! I'm buying one.
Fuck it.
See you next month.
See you next month.
I'm gonna get one.
Shit.
Just for that game. Just for that game.
Just for Zombie U.
Just for Zombie U and maybe Assassin's Creed 3 and Nintendo Land.
All right.
Yeah, Mario Kart 8's on there too, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there you go. I'm good.
But then again, you might as well just get the Switch version.
Yeah, that's true. But if I can find one, but I can't play Zombie U on it. So there's.
I think Zombie's on it.
There's the catch 22.
The fuck?
There's catch 22 right there.
God damn it.
Because you can't play the Switch on the TV and have the Switch as a gamepad form too. See?
That is true.
Telling you.
Fuck.
Hashtag bring back the Wii U. Starting it now.
Nintendo, please. Just at least make a console where you have a gamepad and a Switch-like thing, or at least make a more powerful.
Just do
something powerful.
Do the Switch Plus. Go with my Plus naming convention, and
Switch
then just
Plus.
and just do Switch Plus where there's a console version but with the gamepad thing.
I wouldn't put it behind them that they actually did call their next gen console the fucking Switch Plus.
Switch Plus sounds cool actually.
Because they did that shit with the DS, except they call it the new Nintendo 3DS.
Oh, okay.
It was a slightly more powerful 3DS.
Because they kind of did it with like XL, extra large.
Because I wouldn't put it behind them.
Switch Plus XL.
They'll probably call it the new. They'll probably call it the new Switch.
The new Switch.
The new Switch XL. But it's like, well, why would you want to make a big ass version of the Switch?
Nintendo
it
swap.
Kills the point.
Do the Nintendo swap.
Oh god.
And then Nintendo click.
I really do hope Nintendo does come up with something good and something innovative, because if they literally fuck up again, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how they will recover from that. But then again, it's Nintendo. They've been around for a little over 100 years.
Yeah. They're one of the pinnacles of the gaming industry.
They actually saved gaming.
Yeah,
to be honest.
That's true. That is true.
In which we'll probably get into the video game crash another time.
Right. So you want to jump into our final closing topic here?
Yep. Welcome to alcohol time. Probably, a working segment here where we start out just talking about our favorite fucking drinks and shit.
Yeah, because we love alcohol.
Like earlier, I brought over some Modelo. Mm-hmm. Some Modelo, some Chilada, the Modelo Chilada.
Right.
That's actually, it's pretty fucking bomb.
It is bomb.
So
So you want to start? Go through your favorite beers.
All right.
Some of your favorite beers that you like.
So far, right now, probably 805. Okay. In terms of actual, beer.
Right.
Well, in terms of anything like beer like that, I'll go for a Guinness Stout.
Yeah.
No?
No, I'm okay with it. I can have
either a Guinness Stout or a Guinness Blonde.
Right.
Because, I
blondes are great. Yeah, I like the blondes, yeah.
I like my beer how I like my women, so.
Everybody out there.
Anybody.
He's available.
Oh, God. Anyways.
He likes the tall blondes.
Oh, God.
Just like the beer bottle.
Short blondes, but okay. But, let's see. I did like, what was it? Well, in terms of cervezas.
Okay.
Modelo now. It used to be, a time where I'm like, this shit smells like this shit tastes like weed.
It does have a skunky smell, some of them do, yeah. That's true.
And I'm just like, okay, yeah, I'll fuck with it.
Right.
And then they came up with Chelada.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay.
Yep.
I'll fuck with this.
The cheladas are good, and even the classic cheladas, like the actual tomato juice mixed with like a Modelo, with some spice or tahini or whatever in there.
Oh, yeah.
So bomb.
Shit.
So good.
Yeah, how about yourself, though?
With beers, you know me, cerveza guy.
Cerveza.
And I do like my beer like I like my women too, like a Mexican. So, which is hence of our skit with Matt Gutenberg and my girlfriend. It's inspired by my actual Mexican girlfriend. So, but I do love Modelo. That's always been my favorite, Especial. Gotta love that. That's my go-to. If anytime I can choose a beer, that's the beer I'm going to grab.
No Negra?
Oh, yeah, no, I like the Negra. I do. I like that one, but I'm more of a blonde kind of golden ale guy.
Okay.
So I do like stuff like that. Corona. It's kind of very similar. They're actually made by the same company, so because Modelo owns Corona.
Yeah.
But I love pretty much every cerveza out there. Like,
even Sol.
It's also yes, I love Sol. And I was the one that showed you that one too, huh? And
Yeah.
my Mexican family, as I call him, like my friend Marcus that I grew up with, they showed me Sol and Tecate and all these Mexican beers. I think that's probably where I got that taste from.
Like, I remember when, like, you were like, oh my god, Sol.
It's good.
I fucking love Sol.
And it was hard to find at the time, remember?
It was hard. Yeah, it was hard to find up here.
Yeah, it was hard to find up here, but now you can get them at Winco and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But if I can choose, Modelo, my number one. And like I said, I like pretty much all of them, but Corona, I kind of like Dos Equis. That's more of like my...
Dos Equis is the shit.
That's my least favorite one. Right, Sheila? You like Modelo too, don't you? Yeah. So there's Linda. That's my girlfriend, Linda.
Okay, that's not her actual name.
That's not her actual name.
That's not her actual name.
But yeah, no, I like Modelo. Modelo is my favorite. And then getting away from cervezas, though, I think my first grab would be Newcastle. Love Newcastle.
It's been a while since I had Newcastle.
Dude, when I first started drinking, that was like, you remember, that was like my thing. I love my Newcastle.
Oh, I know. That was actually my first beer that you, like, tried to get me to drink.
Yeah.
And I'm like, ew, no.
Oh, yeah. But now you like it.
Hey, that's...
With
shit,
all beers and like liquor just in general, I think it's an acquired taste. You know, you start to acquire a taste for certain things. But Newcastle, I think that's my more British UK side, you know, of my heritage. I definitely love Newcastle. Hangar 24, I like the orange wheat, so kind of like shock top, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
If I'm going to get away from cervezas. I don't really do the Guinness like how you do. I'm not really of a heavy beer type of guy.
Yeah.
That's why I think I stick with the golden blonde ales, just because it's a little easier on my stomach. I can drink it, piss it out, and drink more. But with the Guinness, I feel like it sits on my stomach a little heavy.
So I guess that's the reason why, Guinness Blonde is probably a better choice for you.
Yeah, and usually if I'm drinking beer, yeah, it's usually with a meal or socially. So I usually want to drink a lot of them. Usually 4 to 5 of them, typically. If I don't get my headaches, which they do give me my headaches sometimes now. But yeah, I like to drink a lot of them. And with the Guinness, I can't really drink more than like 2 or 3, and I start feeling like sluggish and slow. But
I feel you on that.
Yeah, so that'd probably be mine. So Modelo, I would say Modelo, Newcastle, and Hangar 24 Orange Wheat are probably my top.
Right.
My top 3. That's 100% for beers.
How about Heineken? The fake ass German beer.
Nah, if I'm gonna go German beer, I'm going Weinsteffe.
Hey,
I'm going actual German import.
That's actual German.
Weinsteffe, yeah. Weinsteffe or Weinsteiner. I forget how to say it.
I think it's Weinsteiner. Isn't that the one I brought over?
This is the one I showed you that I got from the Chevron right here down the street. Remember that one? I just bought. I think it was one random day I went down there and I was like, I'm going to buy an imported beer.
Yeah.
And I went and bought that one, and it was just the first German beer I saw. And then I looked up commercials of it, and there's an actual American commercial, which I should try to find.
What the fuck?
And it's literally some American guys at a German bar, right, drinking the beer, and they're going, give me one of the Weinsteiners. And then you see some German guy sit down at the table. He slams a beer glass down. He goes, Weinsteffe, hard to say, easy to drink. God damn it has the little logo. I'm like, this is awesome television. This is awesome television.
Yo, what the fuck?
And right at that moment, I'm like, that's the beer I'm buying. So I went down to Chevron, saw it. It was the first one, grabbed it, done. Loved it ever since.
Oh my god. Yeah, I'll probably try that shit.
Yeah. And the character looked right into the camera. It was like, Weinsteffe, hard to say, easy to drink.
God damn it.
The logo pops up. I'm like, this is awesome television.
Oh god.
But yeah, no, I like Weinsteffe too. Weinstein, however you say it. But
I think the Weinsteffe.
And I have German heritage too, so I have German ancestry, so that's probably why I like that too. And it is a myth that Germans like warm beer. Because I have a friend in Germany that discredited that myth. He says room temp, not warm. People say in America, like, people in Germany like warm beer. It's not warm, it's just room temperature. Yeah, it's not warmed up, it's just whatever the room temperature is. So it's just, it's not warm, it's not hot.
Which room temperature beer is not that bad, honestly.
And he says that a lot of people in Germany, at least in his area, he lives in the more southern part of Germany, he says they drink it cold, so... I can't attest to the other parts of Germany. I don't know people in those parts, but at least in his section of it, he says that they drink a cold or room temp.
Well, it seems that we Americans have been debunked.
Yeah. And my dad said the Guinness is so much smoother the closer you get to the East Coast. Because my dad went to New York a few years ago. and he had Guinness over there, and he says it's so much smoother. And he had a guy, one of his friends, because my dad's a firefighter, that went to freaking England, or no, he went to, I forget where he went, that he had Guinness, where it's actually, like, from.
From there?
Yeah. And he says it's even smoother over there. So the version we get is, like, a heavy, very processed kind of filler type beer. And the actual Guinness over there is, like, super smooth and light. And I'm like, then I would actually drink more of them.
Damn, they actually just hate California, don't they?
Yeah. So, yeah, my dad, when he went to New York, he said it was way smoother. And any of our viewers that are listening from the East Coast, maybe you can attest to that. But
what the fuck?
Yeah, so that's kind of cool. But, yeah, that's my beer preferences. What about you for liquor?
Liquor, I'm more of a whiskey guy.
Whiskey guy? Okay.
I'm a whiskey guy. Mm-hmm. There are times I will drink vodka, but that's mostly because it's cheaper.
Mm-hmm. True.
But if I were, if I actually had the money to get whiskey, I'd get whiskey.
Yeah. Okay. What are some whiskeys that you like? Some favorite.
Shit.
Don't say Jack Daniels. Do not say Jack Daniels.
I mean, I'll get a Jack here and there, but sometimes I get Jim Beam. I think Jim Beam.
Yeah.
Funny enough, Japanese whiskey is actually pretty good.
Okay.
Japanese whiskey. There's another whiskey.
I like that one that we drank back in 2013. That Irish.
Was it 2013 or was it 20? That was 2016. I thought.
Oh yeah, no, it was.
2013 we were like teenagers. Though.
That's true. Yeah, no, 2016. Yeah, because we were in college at the time.
Yeah.
What was it called? Irish Dublar. I forget what it was called.
It was Irish whiskey.
It was a very like golden kind of looking whiskey. Mm-hmm. It wasn't dark, and it had a green label. That's all I remember.
It was like Irish whiskey.
Yeah, that one was pretty good. I remember liking that one pretty much.
Remember the Conor McGregor one?
Oh, yeah, that one was harsh. Proper 12. and that's just because that one he's still a young whiskey, because, he just started making that. Mm-hmm. So I think as time goes on, we'll see the quality of Proper 12 get better. But, yeah our friend Shaden
loves that shit.
Well, yeah, he threw up a little bit. And then he never wanted to drink it again. But that was an interesting time having that, yeah.
Oh, God.
But for me, just like my beers, I like a Mexican.
Tequila?
So, yeah. So, tequila is my go-to. Specifically, my favorite is mezcal, which I have a bottle of up there. I'd rather go with mezcal or... I always get the name wrong, but it's the one with the deer on it. And if my Mexican girlfriend was here at the moment, she would be able to tell me what it is.
She's in the bathroom at the
But... maybe when she comes out, I can ask her. But yeah, it's the one with the deer on it. I forget what it's called. I always mess up the name. I'm not good with Spanish, which I should be by this time. But
it's all good.
I like mezcal. I'd like some Don Julio. I think that's a tequila, at least from what I remember.
What about Jose Cuervo?
It's okay. That's like the
bottom
Jack.
Of the barrel.
Yeah,
that's like the bottom of the barrel type beer.
It's
bottom of the barrel type of tequila.
To me, it's like the Jack of whiskeys or the Jack of tequilas.
I can't honestly like the mezcal. Smooth as fuck.
It's a little smoky too.
So in the smoky.
It doesn't have as much of that tequila, like harsh kind of like gasoline feeling.
But like fucking Jose Cuervo.
Nah, it's a little harsh. Silver or golden, doesn't matter.
Golden is I think golden's a little bit worse though.
Yeah.
Because it makes me gag, like hardcore.
Right.
But silver is fine, I guess. It still makes me gag, but it's not as bad. As golden.
Yeah. Oh, we had that tequila. I'm talking about it at Dave & Buster's, remember?
The fuck?
We had a shot of it. You remember? We were like, I looked and I told you, I was like, the one with the deer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Remember, we'd had it. Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah, I literally forgot the name of that.
Yeah, I forget it too. I always get the names mixed up. But, yeah, no, I like mezcal. And I actually got shown that by my girlfriend's brother. And I didn't even know what it was before. I was just knowing about like Jose Cuervo, the basic tequilas you see.
Shit.
And he showed me that, and the quality of that is like next level. It is next level quality tequila, and it's like the real stuff that Mexicans bring out at like parties and stuff. If they like you, they're gonna give you a shot of that. So, but yeah, I like tequila. I do like rum too. Rum would be my second choice.
Like Captain Morgan,
Sailor Jerry. Yeah, I like those. I like rums, and I'm not really a Bacardi fan.
Bacardi's alright.
When it comes to rum,
if it's there, it's there. If it's there, I get it.
I'm more of a Sailor Jerry guy when it comes to my rum. And it's mainly because of rum. I don't really like to drink straight. I like to drink mixed. Because of the spice part of it. Like Captain Morgan has that spice. I like mixing that with stuff. I think one of Deanna's cousins, she does this thing with Jameson, which is a whiskey. But she does, I don't know if you've had this, but it's Jameson and ginger ale. It is delicious.
I'll probably try that shit.
You should try it. Jameson and ginger ale. It's pretty bomb. But I did the same thing with Captain Morgan, and it tasted great too because of that spice in there. It kind of adds a little like tang to the flavor. But yeah, I would choose those two, rum and tequila. Those are my two top liquors.
I would pick rum because because technically my heritage, I'm Caribbean and all. Mm-hmm. But
right,
one time I got fucked up on that shit. Mm-hmm. Oh god.
We won't go into that story.
At least another day.
Another day.
Well, we'll probably talk about drunk stories another day.
Yeah.
They're actually a bit interesting.
They are.
They're actually interesting.
They're very interesting.
So.
Cool. So I think that's pretty much it for the second episode, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I mean, originally we had an original second episode, but
yeah,
I decided to scrap that
because
reasons. And so. That's pretty much it.
We'll see you guys in the next episode. We'll try to do these a little bit more frequent. Yeah, this time we're actually in person, so we're like, let's get an episode out. But
probably like at least once, twice a month. Probably once a month, maybe.
I think so.
Anyways, I'm Wolf,
and I'm the Weezle.
All right. See you guys later.
Peace. Hour 25. That's good.
Yep.